Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel and welcome back to our Euros predictions for Matchday 2 now. Matchday 1 has come and gone so fast, it's flowing past. And what a match day. We've had great games, we've had boring games, we've had everything in between. We've had goals galore, own goals, great comebacks, late winners, the lot. And that's why we absolutely love the Euros. Again, we're employing our point system, which we use in the Premier League predictions over the last season. So after the first match day, I've picked up 9 points through 9 correct results predicted. No correct scorelines, unfortunately. If you're new to the channel and wondering how the point system works, is 1 point for the correct result, 3 points for the correct scoreline, and obviously 0 points for neither. So did okay, managed all right considering there was some really big just turnarounds and upsets in the first match day. So pretty happy with my predictions there. But that all being said, ladies and gents, before we get into the video, if you could like, comment, subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Now let's jump into the predictions for match day 2. Our first game sees Croatia versus Albania. And in the first game, Croatia were pretty disappointing. They had a fair few chances. They had some moments in the game where they could have pounced, but they didn't make it count. And Spain hurt them the other way. A 3-0 loss in the first game to Croatia puts pressure on them now. They have to really win the next 2 games in the group. And considering it is the group of death and how deep the group is, they're going to have to really turn things around and turn it around quickly. Albania is the weakest in the group, however, though. So this is an opportunity for them to get some confidence up and build that style of football they want to play. And I think in this game, it's really important. They control that midfield battle. They really got outworked that midfield there. Luka Modric, Kovacic, Brozovic, outdone by a Spanish midfield that was much younger than them. And I feel like going up top, there's a lot of pressure now on Kramaric to put the ball in the back of the net. You've got other guys like Maya up there as well. These guys need to be more clinical in front of goal. And without really a clear number 9, I feel like in this team, there's a real lack of identity up top. It's going to be important that you create a lot of chances because there's not going to be a real clinical finisher up there. And against Spain, it came in, it showed they missed a lot of chances, missed the penalty as well, and that came back to hurt them. So in this game here, create a lot of chances, get some confidence in the forwards, and score early. I think that'll be a key factor. If you get in the scoreboard early, you put pressure on Albania, it could be a bit of one-way traffic in this game here and build some confidence for the tournament to come for Croatia. A big contributor to this one, though, is Albania. Obviously, a really impressive start to the game as Italy scoring in the first minute there. Were hard to beat. They made Italy force the ball around them. Italy were very, very good in that game. I think Albania getting the 2-1 loss in the end is actually a good result in many regards. They come in as one of the lowest ranked teams in the competition and showed that they're not totally out of their depth. They can really fight and scrap, and they can definitely do it here versus Croatian side that, again, as we said, in the first match week, didn't have that real clinical finisher up top. So there's a real opportunity here to maybe take it to this Croatian side. And if they win this game or get a point, it basically tries and ruins Croatia's chance of qualifying for the round of 16. It's really, really important that they can try and get on top early and minimise the damage. I think if Croatia get on top early, they control the ball, they have a lot of chances that I can see it being one-way traffic. But if Albania can sit in, make it a real tough game, congest the midfield areas, you never know. There might be a chance here for them to get a famous result, whether it be a win or a draw in this game here. Despite that all being said, I think Croatia bounced back well. They need to bounce back, and they get a convincing win for me. I've gone with a 2-0 win, controlling it from minute 1 to minute 90, and getting back on track in their hopes to qualify for the round of 16. Our next game sees Germany take on Hungary. Obviously, Germany, the benchmark has set. That opening night game, the 5-1 win, just fantastic. From minute 1 to minute 90, they controlled the game. I said a lot coming into the tournament. The young stars will be the key factors for this tournament, and it showed for Germany. Musiala and Wirtz, fantastic in the opening half an hour, and both getting goals to show for it. Yeah, had the likes of Emre Can and Nicholas Fulkrug coming off the bench to score as well, just showing the quality that's in this squad. And I feel like in this game here, we saw what they did best, which was control the game, control their tempo, always looking control of possession. They never really lost a real stranglehold of the game. Scotland tried at moments to try and fight back with midfield counter press and physicality, but the likes of Toni Kroos, Robert Andrich, and Pascal Gross came on, they dictated the game. And when you've got the ball up top there with Kai Havertz being really, really influential and playing a unselfish role, taking the ball away and opening up spaces for the likes of Wirtz and Musiala to work, it was just such a great fluid system, chance creation galore, and really good defensive. Despite Scotland going down to 10 men at half-time there, to only allow Scotland the one shot is just fantastic. That just goes to show how solid they are defensively as well. Rudiger at the back alongside Jonathan Tah. Yes, it can look a bit lopsided I guess Rudiger does provide that pace, Jonathan Tah with that ability on the ball as well. But this looked fantastic all over the park. There was no real holes in that team there. I think they carry on that same form here versus Hungary, who were quite disappointing that first game versus Switzerland. Lack of chance creation was the problem for me. You get the ball at the feet of Varga, you're going to score more chances and create more chances and score them more often than not. So it's all about trying to find chance creation. This game will be through the counter attack, or be through trying to catch Germany throwing too many numbers forward, playing through their counter press. And for Hungary, being compact at the back, you looked like sort of Lang and Willie Orban, Salah at the back there. That back three, those three centre halves, really compact, really narrow, not allow spaces for Musiala and Wirtz to operate into. That'll go a long way for them getting a result in this game here. If it's a loss here and a convincing loss, they basically out of the tournament, so they really need to keep fighting here. It's a massive game for Hungary. For Germany, they win it, they qualify for the round of 16. It's pretty simple, so a lot to play for both teams here. With that being said, I think Germany look like the hottest team in the tournament right now. As such, I got them winning this game 3-0 for me, despite what Hungary need to do to stay in the tournament. Our third match here to preview is Scotland versus Switzerland. Scotland, probably one of the most disappointing results from the opening match day. Again, going out of 10 men did not help that at all, especially that Porteous red card was quite idiotic in the end. But there was still some shining lights in that game there. The willingness and the resilience to keep fighting that game and keep taking it to Germany was plaudable. And I think you saw the likes of Scott McTominay, Ryan Christie really stand out alongside McGregor in that midfield. These are the guys that are working hard, making themselves available to play on the ball. And I feel like now, because you're not going into Germany, going into Switzerland, who are a little bit of a weaker side, there's more chance to play on the ball. We might get to see the best of Ryan Christie and Che Adams, and the more attacking output from John McGinn. I think that's what we need to see from Scotland. Like, they came to the tournament, obviously, a lot of hype, excitement around the group to try and see if they can maybe cause a ruckus, maybe make a round of 16. But from the start, they looked very vulnerable at the back. And that's the big thing here. Their midfield looked really good. They worked hard. The whole team worked hard defensively, but they're conceding way too many chances. Maybe that's one down to how good Germany were, but for me, there's too many mistakes in that Scotland lineup and too much vulnerability at the back. That's the key thing here. Can they be more solid defensive in this game versus Switzerland, who will look to lose their pace? You saw versus Hungary, they're a big chance creation side of limited possession and can create out of nothing. And I think for them, once they get in the final third, they're a really clinical side. You look at some of the goals they scored, the chances they created, that's just, they're going to be at their best, where they can play with a bit of pace, trying to expose teams who have a bit of a higher line at times as well. I think for Scotland, with that 3-5 back formation, it's limit chances centrally, force them out wide, force them across the ball into the area, and hopefully allow your centre-halves to do the clean-up job. With it all being said, I think the chance creation that Switzerland can have, their ability to create chances consistently through different avenues, whether it be sitting in or playing on the ball, counter-attacking, is just their advantage over Scotland here. And I think it'll be a tough game. Scotland will need to fight, scrap, and really work hard to try and get a result of this one here. But I see Switzerland getting over the line 2-1. Again, really nice and tight. But I think their quality was shown in the end. And Scotland just not enough for me in this tournament to really cause any real problems. Fourth match we'll be previewing here is Slovenia, who face Serbia. A very, very important game from the group here. Slovenia obviously got the point in the opening game versus Denmark, and they showed their cards. They were going to be really solid defensively, you sit in deep, and that's how they're going to cause problems to the team. Erik Jansa with his goal, but also his all-round defensive effort coming from the left-back position there was fabulous. They were consistently, he was consistently a problem for Denmark in terms of his running up and down that flank, but also defensively shutting down the Danish side, who really didn't have much sharp edge in that final third. They looked really blunt going into the final third. Both strikers underperforming for me. With more chances expected in this game, you think they'd create a bit more chances versus Serbia than they will versus Denmark. He looks like Sesko up top to be more involved, to be that runner, to be that dynamic forward which you're used to. The reason why he's got that deal to 2029 at RB Leipzig, that's the player you think will have to lift his game here to create a bit of a challenge for Serbia, who are really, really impressive versus England, a physical side. Sasa Lukic in the midfield and Linkovic-Savic putting their body on the line, going through challenges, making it really, really difficult for England to get settled. And I think England had a great first 20 to 30 minutes. They scored the goal and went in their shell. I think Serbia showed that they have multiple ways to play their football. They sat in early on when England were dominating the ball, but once England went into their shell, Serbia came out and used that physicality and used a counter press and used playing with pace in the final third to their advantage and really caused England some serious problems there as the game went deeper, and really unlucky not to get the point from that game the way they played their football. They really deserved a point with the way they went about it. And I think The balance up top wasn't quite there. I was really disappointed with what Dusan Vlahovic put up there. Kostic was poor and obviously went off injured. So there's a few changes that have to be made. But I think going to this game here, Serbia, with their physicality, they can apply it onto the Slovenian side. That could be their advantage point. Like, you look at the back as well. I think the Serbian back line was a key thing for me. The three at the back really, really worked. Milenkovic at the centre of all the three centre halves was really, really impressive. There's players all over the park that can do a big job, and I think their physicality and their willingness to turn the ball over and go quickly going forward will be the difference in this game for me, and that's the reason I've got them winning this game. Obviously, some clinical strikers up top, but their physicality will be the difference in this tournament. I think it will be the difference in this game here. I've got them edging it in a 2-1 close game. It's sort of been a theme of a lot of the games of the tournament. The team that can take their chances and can win those big moments, go through and win the games, normally 2-1 or 2-0, and I think Serbia will do this in this occasion here. Our next game to preview is Denmark hosting England. And another very important game from the group. Obviously, Denmark only picked up the 1 point from the European game. Now facing an England side, he picked up all 3 points, but were far from convincing. I think for Denmark, Christian Eriksen, what a moment to score that goal after all that happened last year. Is his complete performance in midfield, alongside that complete Danish midfield in there, the 2 or 3 that work in there, fantastic. They control the ball, they control a lot of the moments of the game, but that final third, the end product wasn't there. I said it in that previous prediction there for the previous game. The Danish were held to being quite blunt in the final third from the Slovenian side, and I think that's what we have to change it. Vind and Rasmus Højlund have to improve their football. Christensen is also from the left wing-back position. I expect more from him as well. You've got to see a more energetic effort in the final third, more dynamic movement, more willingness to throw plays in there, create chaos, create chances, because that's where they just fell short for me. There wasn't enough creativity, ingenuity in the final third, and a real sharp edge to find that goal in the back of the net. There wasn't much threat on the Slovenian goal. It sort of felt like at periods of time there. So if you're going to play this English side who I think want to throw numbers forward, there's your opportunity, right? You expect them to play with less of the ball, so maybe with the counter-attacking style, maybe with the more chance absorption style where you allow England to have more opportunity, then you absorb your chances and throw numbers forward with this sort of 5-back style of football, throwing the wing backs on, allowing those 3 in midfield to push on, overload the forward areas, and allow Rasmus Højlund and Vind up top to try and score some goals. That's your avenue to win this game, because coming against the England side that's pretty defensively solid, but has a lot of things going wrong with it. The balance in the side is wrong. Phil Foden looked poor on the left. The Trent trial in midfield didn't quite work for me. It feels odd without Harry Maguire being there. Gay played fantastic, by the way, but it felt odd not having Harry Maguire there and that physicality in the box as well. You've got Kieran Trippier at left back, and I feel like he'll keep playing there because Luke Shaw isn't quite ready. It's a very unbalanced squad. They started the game fantastically well, but they got bailed out by Jude Bellingham. Once that goal went in the back of the net, it was basically it. That was it. Flat from England, no attacking output, limited chance. Harry Kane's header that was tipped into the crossbar was probably the best bit outside of that. Bukayo Saka performed well. Jude Bellingham performed well. Jordan Pickford was okay. John Stones and Mark Gahey were okay as well. But outside of that, really poor over the parts of the park. Declan Rice as well was quite good. But no one was fantastic in that game for England. I think they were all playing within themselves. And that's been a symbol of the Gareth Southgate system and the English system over the last few years. Yes, it gets results, but will it be enough to take it to the French, take it to the Germans, the Spanish, the Portuguese, and the Italians? Probably not, because they all went about playing their football in different sort of ways, but they were more aggressive, more attacking. And it says a lot when that game had the least shots of any European Championship game that SofaScore recorded. It was quite a boring game. England got the result, and I feel like they'll carry it over yet again. I think they'll start the game quite attacking yet again, but once that first goal goes in, they'll go into their shell. I've got them winning another game 1-0. Bit boring, but that's just how England works at this current point in time. Our next game is arguably the game of the match day. It's Spain and Italy in the group of death here. Both teams getting positive results in their first matches. Starting with Spain, fantastic against Croatia. They rode some ups, they rode some downs, but this new philosophy, the willingness to win without the ball, to not have that reliance on having to play through tiki-taka through the lines and 80, 70% possession and win a game of football was really, really positive to see. Using the likes of Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, who I think are both their brightest sparks in the team. Alvaro Morata working unselfishly and consistently running without the ball to create chances, opening teams up on the counter-attack, using Fabian Ruiz, who I was quite critical of coming into the game, but was fantastic in terms of creating from a deep-lying role there and also driving into spaces, scoring a great goal for himself. alongside Rodri. He's one of the best midfielders in the world. We understand that. Pedri didn't even play his best game. I think it was far from his best performance, but yet they overran, they outworked, they were just better quality than the Croatian midfield with so many established names there like Kovacic, like Brozovic, and also Luka Modric in that midfield there. It was clear to see that the Spanish midfield actually outplayed them despite having less of the ball. And I feel like Unai Simon in goal, a fantastic penalty save and was good with his feet for most of the game. The centre-back pairing was solid enough for me. Carvajal right back in his first European Championships appearance, fantastic as well. All of the part, there wasn't really a poor performance. Every player came and did a job. And I feel like this Spanish team is very, very dangerous. I have them second, I guess, in the power rankings right now, just behind Germany. But to go against a tournament team like Croatia and do what they did to them just showed the quality in the side and just the willingness to go forward and try and win games of football and the lack of fear this side plays with. It's quite remarkable. They come against the Italy side that sort of reversed their style of football as well. They went from a counter-attacking, defensively orientated team a team that now plays a lot in possession, that throws numbers forward. That I was super impressed with the midfield. Jorginho, Fratesi, alongside Barella in that midfield, they dominated the game. They dictated the pace and controlled the momentum of game in the key moment, created a lot of chances from that midfield area. And it's almost like roles reverse here. Italy will play that possession style of football, will play out from the back, and are willing to take the game on in that regard. And Spain, yes, they have the quality midfield and yes, they can play out from the back, but they choose to play on the counter-attack, use a counter-press, press high up the pitch and try and force mistakes and attack in that avenue and use the pace they've got in the final third, use their youthful legs to beat teams. I think that works for both teams. So it's going to be interesting. You get two different systems coming up face-to-face with each other. How do I see this game going? I've got Spain winning it, 3-1. It might sound a bit crazy considering how both teams play their football, but I think Spain right now look the better unit. They look more together. They look like they're more convincing in their performance in Matchday 1, and they've got some genuine winners in that side there as well. Got a few more experienced players versus the Italian team, which is much more younger, much more learning on the go. But don't get me wrong, the Italian team can still cause some problems here and get a massive result. I just think the Spanish team has got that real sharp edge, that quality, and that will get them over the line here. And I've got them winning this game 3-1 versus Italy. Our next match is huge for the context of this group here. It's Slovakia hosting Ukraine. Slovakia obviously coming off the greatest result so far in the tournament in terms of the underdog story. They went to Belgium, they took it to Belgium, and they got a famous 1-0 result. Yes, they rode their luck, but they, throughout the game, really took it to Belgium in different periods and showed some real integrity at the back there in terms of keeping that defensive shape and keeping the Belgium side away from goal as much as possible. Once again, that character was shown, but key players setting up a big moment. The likes of Martin Dubravka and also Milan Skriniar at the back. These two guys will be important yet again as they go up against a Ukraine side that will play quite similar, many guys, to Belgium. They like to play in possession. They like to play on the ball, and they look to try and exploit teams through possession and try and play through the lines and the like. Kuchka and Harasun, who are also important for Slovakia as well in terms of their chance creation in the final third and using the limited time and possession to create meaningful chances and effective chances there. So once again, those two will be very important in terms of the attacking region, whilst Dubravka and also Skriniar will be important at the back. In terms of Ukraine, as I said, I need to bounce back. Lunin with some massive mistakes we haven't seen from him this season. Also lack of chance creativity from that midfield to final third area. They need to change a few of those areas there. If Lunin returns his Real Madrid form and you get more creativity and chance creation from midfield, this game totally turns around. It was a really disappointing 3-0 loss to Romania, but their philosophy was planned out. It was seen. They were willing to throw numbers forward. They're willing to play a bit of a higher line, play out from the back, use possession to try and break apart a side. And I think they'll use a similar system yet again here against the Slovakian side, who will not be as defensive as Romania, but will employ themselves in a very similar manner in terms of being compact, limiting mistakes they make, and forcing the opposition to come onto them and try and score past them. So for Ukraine, I think it'll be that, ability to have that pace, that clinical wedge in the final third, taking the game on the final third, a real defense-splitting pass. That's going to be the difference in this game. They can show that. They can have that difference versus that first game. I could see them win this game and winning it quite comfortably. With that being said, the way the two teams match up, the way Ukraine struggled to break down a low block versus Romania and how they got exploited in the counter-attack, I can see it being quite close. I've got Ukraine just nicking this game 2-1 versus Slovakia, though. I think the likes of Mudryk and Dovbyk and Sagankov at the top will show their quality, they'll use their pace, and they'll go to the line here in a really, really close game. Poland versus Austria is our next match, and a game I'm very, very excited for because this is not deemed the group of death, but this group is going to be very, very interesting to see how it goes, with France and Netherlands both winning unconvincing their first games. These two teams come into this game with some confidence. They both took some of the best teams in Europe, and I'm interested to see how they apply themselves here against each other. Starting with Poland, awesome versus Netherlands. Had a poor start of the game, got that early goal with a Bukska there from the header. Zielinski getting involved. The more he got involved, the better they looked. And I feel like in this game here, because they have more time on the ball, they have more willingness to attack. Robert Lewandowski looks like he should be back for this game. I look at Zielinski, I look at Zalewski, and I look at Robert Lewandowski. These three here could be the difference. They really were fantastic over a long period of time against the Netherlands. They defended well when the Netherlands would try and play slowly and just slowly grind down the side, but Poland stayed with it. They defended well. Salomon, despite having that deflected Cody Gakpo shot coming off him into the back of net, was very, very good at the back. Jakub Kiwior was great at the back. Zalewski from that left wing back position was better when he got more on the ball, allowed him to go further forward. I feel like there's so much positive in this Polish side, and if they take the workmanlike performance they put in against the Netherlands with a bit more attacking creativity and spark versus that Netherlands game, you could see them cause a lot of problems with the Austrian side. It'd be important they play with an extra peso because of how Austria press and counter-press early in defensive structure, and for Austria, that's what they want to do again. Press high up the pitch, use that high counter press, which was employed versus France to a great degree. It caught France out a lot of periods of time. It made them really, really passive at periods, and you saw by the match stats, they had more possession, more passes, and probably had some of the better chances of the game because of the counter press, which was employed by Ralf Rangnick's men. Patrick Wimmer, I expect to see more of him in this game. He could have scored the equaliser if it wasn't for N'Golo Kante. I expect him to be more involved in this game here. He's a real chance creation magnet. Whenever the ball's around him, he'll find a way to make something happen. Baumgartner as well, he grew into the game as a game deep, and find more of him as well in forward and more progressive areas, and it could be a really, really important performance here for Austria. With that being said, I think I like what Austria did. I think if Marcel Sabitzer gets more involved, if Baumgartner and Wimmer get involved, I think they get the win here. It's going to be a high scoring type affair. Both teams going hammer and tongs, I think. With that all being said, I've got Austria winning this game 3-2 in a high scoring affair. I just think up top, they'll have what it takes. I think their all-round depth all over the park is much better than the Polish side. We stay in that group for our next game, which is the Netherlands and France. Wow, what a game this one will turn out to be. Netherlands coming off that important 2-1 win versus Poland after that late Wout Weghorst goal. But I still a lot of questions to be had. I was quite impressed with them, but a lot of the media questioning how they go about their football. Yes, they're going to play this possession. They're just going to play quite slowly out the back, and they have the willingness to carry the ball at the back through passing, through possession, and through driving into different areas. But up top, it wasn't quite good enough for me. Yes, they're missing a lot of midfielders. No Frankie de Jong, no Koopmeiners, no Martin de Roon. So you got this sort of different midfield trio. But once the ball gets in the forward areas, I want them to be more clinical. I want them to create chances for each other and themselves. I think Memphis Depay was quite poor. He got into a lot of good areas but couldn't finish these chances. Cody Gakpo was fantastic in the Dutch uniform. But the question I have is, will Donyell Malen start? Will Wout Weghorst start? Will Jeremy Frimpong be introduced in the start on the right-hand flank? Because in the final third, for me, it wasn't good enough. Xavi Simons wasn't quite at his best. I think he's got levels to increase. But for me, Memphis Depay is the weak link so far. Cody Gakpo was fantastic. Xavi Simons has got a high ceiling. Memphis Depay, is that just not what we expect with Memphis Depay now? Why don't you chuck Donyell Malen up there, who's been a really clinical finisher off the bench and starting for Borussia Dortmund? I feel like, though, the biggest change is going to come from midfield. If Schouten can increase his production and performance, and for me, Vermaelen, really, really poor in the first game, gave away the ball too much, poor challenges, got driven past and ran past too many times. He needs to lift his performance. So if the midfield can lift, and up top, we make a few changes, I feel like the Dutch will be a really dangerous side. I really like the way they set up with Nathan Ake, one of the better performers from the first match day, alongside Virgil van Dijk and Stefan de Vrij and Bart Verbruggen in goal. There's a lot of quality all over the park. You fix up a few things in the final third, make yourself more dynamic, make yourself more energetic, and have that more cutting edge in the final third. You become a really, really strong side. You versus a France side who are willing to give up possession. You saw that in that game versus Austria. They're willing to play without the ball to win the game of football. And if it wasn't for N'Golo Kante, they could have easily dropped the points there and only picked up a one single point from that opening game. He was fantastic. Mbappe was important, but he's now out with a broken nose. So who's going to fill in that spot? You think of Antoine Griezmann, you think of Olivier Giroud. I think of Ousmane Dembele as well, who was good in the early periods, but sort of faded as the game went deeper. Marcus Thuram was consistently a great runner. But Ousmane Dembele for me was not good enough. I think I need him to live. I need Olivier Giroud to fill that spot over the next few games whilst Mbappe's out with that broken nose. With him being out, it's going to be a really, really even type game. I think whoever takes their chance and owned their moments better. I think both teams owned their moments in their first match day of games. If the Dutch own their moment and score more goals when they're on top, they win. If the French do the same thing, they win. It's just the battle of where it's going to be. With that all being said, I see both teams scoring, but I see the French just getting the line for me. I've got France winning this game in a tight 2-1 result. Third for last game, sees Georgia take on Czechia. Georgia, really, really impressive. They took it to Turkey in that opening game there. A back and forth over there. It was a reason why I like the game of the tournament so far, because both teams threw cautious the win and threw numbers forward. And really unfortunate not to get a result in that game, because they're very, very impressive. Both ends of the park. Mamadashvili in goal, fantastic. Mikadutsi as well at the other end up top, creating chances and scoring goals. It was really, really impressive the way they threw numbers forward, willingness to attack. They didn't just defend that game, which I predicted they'd do. And I feel like they'd take a similar sort of mindset into this game versus Czechia. Czechia obviously was fantastic in the last game, of the first match. They take it to Portugal and leading for a major period until right at the end there, where all hell broke loose and Portugal were able to turn things around. But their solidity without the ball at the back, defending in a low block, was fantastic. I'm a Souček, really, really consistent and very, very good in that game there as well. Hoyles and Kirksey as well at the back. All these defenders, really, really fantastic. Sitting in that three centre-back type shape. Souček in front of them with the wing-backs tucking in as well. They denied a lot of chances. They limited Leao and Ronaldo's impact. Bruno Fernandes wasn't at his best because of what the Czechia side was able to do. And then when they threw numbers forward to score the goal they did, and it's a fantastic finish nonetheless, they've got that in their bag as well. So I see them causing a lot of problems for Georgia. They can do it both ways. I think Turkey were lacking in terms of the defensive solidity. They allowed a lot of chance for Georgia to score. I think Czechia will be better in that regard in terms of defending spaces and closing down opportunities. So with that being said, I think Czechia win this game. They win it quite convincingly. I've got them winning this game 3-0. I was really impressed with what they did versus Portugal, and I think they carry over that form with a similar types of performance from all those players. They get a very positive result here versus Georgia. Our penultimate game keeps us in that same group there as Turkey versus Portugal. Turkey played in the match of the day. Fantastic game with Georgia, and they showed their willingness to attack. They kept throwing numbers forward. They kept going at the Georgian side, despite how Georgia was getting at them on the counter-attack. They weren't fearful of that. They knew they were able to score more goals than the opposition, and they did that. And obviously, you can talk at Samet Akadin producing a similar sort of performance. He was fantastic, but also the biggest one for me is Arda Güler. A fantastic goal, probably goal of the tournament so far. A powerful effort to find the top right corner there. The young star boy, he has been fantastic for Real Madrid. Whenever he plays or starts for them, he gets a goal or assist, and he showed that again here for Turkey. Also, alongside Akadin, there's also Badaki up top. He was really vital to help keep Portugal out, and also to have a push going forward and transition Turkey in the opposite direction. It'll be really important for them to not only just defend for the full 90 minutes, take what Czechia did. Yes, you can defend and be compact through major periods, but you need to still throw numbers forward and keep Portugal accountable going the other way, because there's a lot of talented players in this side, and a few in the midfield don't really cover off defensively. So definitely able to get Portugal going that way and attacking them. In terms of Portugal, they were very impressive for me. I found them impressive, despite having trouble scoring goals. I found most of the players really, really good. I think Vitinha stood out once again, similar to what he was doing with PSG in the Champions League. Fantastic for them. Pepe Inacio, when he came on as well, really, really good. Nuno Mendes as well, fantastic performance. Bruno Fernandes, not too bad. But for me, the problem was Bernardo Silva not having much of an impact for my liking. Rafael Leao was pathetic in my regards. Ronaldo wasn't quite at it for me. Diego Dalot was quite poor. And you've had a few passengers in the park. It also brings the team down a notch. And I think that's where they were sort of limited that game, because Leao wasn't a great runner in behind. He wasn't that alternate scorer for Ronaldo. Ronaldo didn't work well with Rafael Leao, and his age shows a little bit. He still was fantastic in that game, but his age shows a little bit, not making those efforts to make that run inside the box. Bernardo Silva, not as influential as I thought he would be. Diego Dalot, as much as it was important to have that versatility at the back, wasn't quite good enough in terms of driving Portugal forward. So a few things to fix up, but their versatility, the performance like the Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Inacio when he came on as well, really, really a positive sign. I think that's their base level now, Portugal. I think they can keep lifting from there. I still feel like they're one of the favourites in this tournament, cause the quality they have all over the park, and their willingness to score goals. Martinez employs this attacking system. You saw that up to half-time. It's the most ever passes that had up to half-time ever in a European Championship game for Portugal. The possession, they dominated that. The chance, they dominated that. Just the Czechia side they came up against was really, really resilient, really, really solid, and didn't make many mistakes. So if Turkey have a similar sort of mindset, Portugal know they can find a way through eventually. And I think it'll be a similar sort of game in any regards. Turkey are holding on, defending narrow, keeping Portugal away. But over time, Portugal will grind them down. As such, I got Portugal winning this game 2-1. I think Cristiano Ronaldo will get on the goal sheet in this game here. That brings us to our final game, which is Belgium hosting Romania. Obviously, the biggest upset coming from match day 1 was Belgium dropping that game 1-0 to Slovakia. And I think despite getting unlucky, you need Romelu Lukaku to step up a little bit more, and some others around him like Doku and like Trossard. I touched on all three of them in my match day 1 prediction. Lukaku had ball in the back of the net, had a lot of chances, was unlucky in certain periods of time, but a big striker like that has to be fine in the back of the net in that game versus Slovakia. He didn't do so. Same as Doku and Trossard. They were impressive, but not too good, not too great, and weren't, match winning or didn't change the game for me. And that's what those sort of players have to be. They didn't quite get that. They both pulled off. I think when Openda came on, you saw a different teammate. That pace he's got to run in behind, the physicality, the willingness to keep pressing high up the pitch, that's a difference maker. So maybe he starts on one of the flanks or replaces Romelu Lukaku. But for me, Belgium have to bounce back here, because if they drop another game here, it basically rule them out for the round of 16. And they come against a Romanian side who really, really impressive. Probably one of the most impressive sides I watched from match day 1. I was having a lot of expectations about Ukraine, the way they play their football, the confidence they have in the ball, the plays in the forward areas. I thought they'd tear Romania apart, but their resilience sitting in deep, seeing that low block, and then winning that ball back and springing the counter-attack was so, so impressive. And you saw some of the performances all around the park. They were just fantastic. Radi Dragusin at centre-half alongside Burka. Wow. Resilient, kept putting their ball in the line, fantastic, and kept Ukraine out for a lot more longer than not. The Croatian from Razovan, Marin and Stancu were elite. Goals came from both of them as well, and some of the goal quality from Romania was fantastic. And they're obviously not going to score those type of goals yet again, but if they can try and nick an amazing goal to nothing, like they did versus Ukraine, to get them going in the right direction, that will be massive in this game versus Belgium, because they look very, very vulnerable early on in the early stages here, Belgium. Yes, they might have a lot of possession. Yes, they might create some chances, but who's going to find the back of the net, and who's going to cover off defensively if they get exposed on the counter-attack? With that being said, I think it'll be an interesting game, but I think Belgium, they have to win. They'll get over the line in the end. Got them win this game 3-1. But yeah, again, I think it's a winnable game for Romania if they employ that similar style of football to what they showed versus Ukraine. So, ladies and gents, that brings my predictions for match day 2 for the Euros to an end. Let me know what you think of my predictions in the comment section down below. Who's some of the most exciting players in the Euros as well? Some of the exciting teams. Let me know that all in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more content like this, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload. Obviously, a massive week on the channel. More live streams to come, more match reaction videos coming as well. So keep an eye on the channel here. And if you knew, and if you know a mate that would like this type of content, please make sure to share the channel with them. That would be much appreciated. Obviously, 9 points in our first match day predictions. Can we go one step better here and get the double digits? We'll have to wait and see. Hope you have a great rest of your day, guys. Enjoy the upcoming football, and I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.